we experienced something different at Matthews that we've not experienced anywhere else. And that it was a sense of, we felt loved not because of what we brought as far as, playing the organ or playing the piano or being able to sing and do the choir. We felt loved for who we were. And honestly, as a lifetime church musicians, that was something that was new to us. And that's very compelling. And we felt all the more drawn here by the authenticity of it all.
This church just feels like home to me. It's a wonderful group of people. I feel like even though we're small, we are doing the work of Christ here, and in a number of ways that are a lot, actually, for a church as small as we are. The fellowship we have here is special.
I think everyone here is great, but it's being in a church that wants to be connected with their community, especially through Project Transformation, which is so important to me. It's really special and I love it.
We started attending church pretty much immediately after we moved to Nashville. I took my first job out of graduate school, and we lived right over there on Wiley Street. And so what happened was Thea wanted to belong to a church, and so she would walk here for choir practice. And then when a service started, I would come, and we've just been coming ever since. And the only members of my family that have been here is the children. So, we're like a family away from home when we come to this church.
I came here first, and I did not have children. I'd only been married 3 years, and I was here for about a year and a half before Cammie came along. And this church just hugged me up. It's such a tender time in my life. And from then, it was, the ladies came together, threw a big baby shower for me, and they just took her in like their own. And so, I was pretty much sold then,
Because of the history that my family has here, I feel a real sense of rootedness. When I think about this physical space, this is one of the few places that's been a constant throughout my entire life. So when I walk through the doors here, I just feel grounded. And I really value that. With how crazy the world can be, this is a place that I can come and truly feels like a sanctuary.
I continue to come to the church because it's like family, it's like home. Since I've moved out of my parents' house recently, it literally is coming home to come to church. And I see all these lovely people every week, and I don't get to see them any other time. And it's a safe place, which is what church should be. It's a safe place, and I'm always happy to see new people and have them experience the same safe place that I've grown up in my whole life. And I am excited to see people that have been here all the time that have made that what it is for me.
The people, the worship, the whole congregation, the choir, everything. But it's a family atmosphere.
I would say, honestly, the first thing would be that it was my church growing up. A lot of the same people are still going here. And it's just always been what I said in the beginning. There was always a feeling of God and a feeling of warmth and love from all those that attended here. A lot of people, as a church family, I had a lot of fathers and mothers growing up. And as they had children, and I had a lot of friends that I'm friends with today. A lot of them had moved to other states, and life takes you to other areas, and you can't always I guess I'm rare in that I didn't move more than 15 minutes away.
The people of this place are also something that really makes me feel connected here and keeps me feeling connected. I have people that are like siblings and people that are like second parents and grandparents. And when we baptize an infant in the United Methodist Church, one of the things that's part of the baptismal liturgy is the congregation vows to help raise the child. Maybe not in those exact words, but that's the gist of it. And I really feel like throughout my life there have been people that have followed through on that commitment. And so that the people of this place have formed me and really are a big part of who I am today.
The church family that I have here is special. And we've just been through so much stuff together that, you know, when it's good, it's good. And during bad times, they're right there to help you.
I think when we first came, of course, we were getting to know everybody, and in our minds, it was a short-term commitment. Like, we're coming here for 6 weeks, we'll do the Christmas cantata, and then we'll be done. And so it felt different because it's like, we're not going to fully invest, you know, we'll come and do what we were asked to do. But as we stayed and as we felt loved for who we were and are, we were drawn by the love and the authenticity. In the worship, there wasn't pretense and high church, inaccessible thing. It was real for us. And that kind of gave freedom to be real along with everybody else. And I think, you know, as the years have gone by, we have appreciated that there's no, if you're sad, it's okay. And you can come to church and cry and be yourself. And if you're happy, great. We rejoice with you in that too. But for us, we walked through a lot of things. We were hurting when we came, and, you know, the body as a whole had losses along the way. And there was this freedom to cry or to rejoice and to pray. And there wasn't pressure to be something we weren't. And so I think that there's not been a lot of change, just in the sense of it's become all the more a safe place to be real and authentic.
So when you serve as a fellow with PT, you go to the church that you work in. And I felt specifically during my fellow year that I was just welcomed with open arms here. There wasn't a single time that I was here searching for family. Like, I was a young adult living in a state that wasn't where I'm originally from. And while we're a smaller congregation, I felt loved on by everyone. There was a specific moment when I was a fellow. It was Easter. It was like Easter Sunday, and I was like talking to Angel White, and I'm like, I'm not going home. Like, I don't have anyone. She was like, just come to our house. And suddenly, like, I found myself at the grocery store buying things, driving out to their house, and it was just like, oh, there are people here that care about me and love me and like bring me into their families. So it was really hard when I moved back to Illinois, kind of leaving these people that have become my family. And I knew that when I moved back, like, there wasn't a single place I wanted to be. While Matthews is smaller and we have work to do still, this was the place I knew I belonged. It's the place where I felt deeply connected. And so I think it's the people that make it what it is. And it's exciting to see where we're going.
I guess everyone at some point would, you know, if you think about, well, you know, am I where I'm supposed to be? Or should I be attending somewhere else? Or, and of course that hasn't gone across my mind before in my history of being here. And I was literally just putting myself in check, you know. This church is like a family to me. they have been there through hard times. They've been there through sad times, through my children's lives, how they've taken them in as their own. It's just been one of those things where you can't imagine yourself somewhere else, you know? So you're always lifting them up in prayer, the church, the community. I'm a big jogger, and I like to do my little devotions, you know, while I'm out jogging. And that's one of the things that I pray about, and it's when I'm out jogging, and I run right by this church every time, and I think about it, and I say, you know, this church is here, right in the middle of the community. Where else do I need to go? You know, I can walk to church, I can ride my bike to church, you know, and even when service is not happening, the church is still here, you know. Bring the girls up, and we ride our bikes over to the school, to the church, and sometimes I let them play in the playground, you know, after hours, and we stop by and talk to the pastor sometimes during the week, you know. It's good, and here's one of the things that gave me a lot of comfort. I talked to the girls when they were smaller, and I would always say, I'd ask them something like, if you were in trouble here in this house, you know, I need you to know who your neighbors are. So, you know, you'd be comfortable leaving, if you had to leave and go to someone else's home. And without a doubt, they would say, well, I know Miss Pat Hankins, you know, from church lives up the street, and the pastor lives right there. You know, Brother Hong is there, and Pastor Steve is there, and, you know, so that's what I needed to hear. That's the kind of comfort you need. You need your children to know where they're going to go if they need something, and that's what this community has been. You know, there's other members who live near, and they know where they are, you know. They know who's on May Street, you know, who's on Sarver, you know. It's one of those things that it's home. It's home. It's family. It's right where we need to be.
I think what keeps us here is that this is a safe place, and there's a refuge of learning that Matthews has been, and that I don't feel any pressure like you should be further along in your faith journey now, and you ought to try harder. There's a sense of grace here that's, for us, winsome, of not putting on airs and performing and trying to come across like something you're not. So I think what draws us here and keeps us here in this season is that sense of it's okay to be where you are. The invitation is to come and know Christ better. The invitation is to receive grace, to be like Jesus at your place of work and wherever you go, and to love. But there's not like this, you have to live up to this standard. Here, I think what draws us and keeps us is a sense of grace, and a sense of growing, and a sense of we're all learning, and we all screw up, and we're all wanting to grow. And we all grow at different places, and some things come easy, and some things I'm like, I'm not there yet. And yet there's grace to that. And that's changed our lives.